IVM.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of the Fight Mania, where you are live with Arjun aka Mystic Chips and your very own Somesh, the superhuman camera. We have yet another exciting episodes from the IVM studios, speaking a lot of combat, the heavyweight fights that are coming up before UFC 275, the Chechen leader who was sparring with Khamzat Chimaev, Paulo Costa elbowing a nurse, and a lot more. After this short commercial break, we'll see you on the other side.
Hello. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Shunya One, Shiladitya asks co-founder Kanika Agarwal and Atanu Agarwal about how Upside AI came to be. On Cider Says His Cock and Bull, Puneet Ayushi and Abbas discuss how a bride refused to marry a bald groom. On Press Decode, Sarah Vagda and Prafulla debate over the ongoing Mandir Masjid mania in the country. On Postcards from Nowhere, Utsav tells us about how nature and history have shaped Rajasthani food. And on All Things Policy, the Takshashila folk discuss the worker shortage in fast food delivery companies. We've got some exciting news for you. IVM Podcast has launched merchandise and our first line is out now. Head to the IVM Podcast website and click on the shop tab and check out the first collection of t-shirts. Do follow us on social media as well. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple, wherever you do that, that is really helpful for us. And do remember, you can also check a lot of our shows out on YouTube. If you go to ivmpodcast.com/YouTube, you get a list of all of our channels. We're also doing a small listener survey, so please do help us out with that. If you go to ivmpodcast.com/survey, it'll help us understand a little bit more about our listeners. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, SBI Life Insurance, Jupiter, a digital banking app, and Capgemini. Get the future you want. Thank you so much. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible.
Mystic Chips, how wonderful is it to have IVM merchandise, which is now available on ivmpodcast.com/shop, and also the survey,
honestly,
which is so cool.
I saw it. I was in the studio last week and we were doing our inaugural episode of Fight Mania.
Yes.
A lot of guys don't know still that Fight Mania, formerly known as the Fighting G.O.A.T, has been rebranded and we're back. Sorry guys, I could not make it to the studio today due to personal issues, but I'm absolutely fine. Kuch bimar kuch nahi hai. So it's absolutely fine. It's not like I got hurt sparring a Russian dictator, a Chechen dictator. When we were discussing the flow of the show today, we were just looking at. We always love to cover. We used to do a segment called the MMA Week that was.
Yes.
And we're just calling it the news of the week now.
Yes.
And we cover all kinds of news. Whether it's Conor McGregor partying on his yacht, to Canelo Alvarez dancing and playing golf for a $1 million celebrity charity event,
right?
Or if you see one of the biggest killers in the UFC, Khamzat Chimaev, who just got off a huge win against number 3 contender in the welterweight division, Gilbert Burns,
yes,
was caught sparring in one of those gyms in Chechnya or in Russia, or Dagestan, where I don't know, location undisclosed, because clearly Russian dictators, they don't exactly walk around with Google Maps on.
Well, after saying all of that, the first sponsor that we said was SBI Life Insurance. जिंदगी के साथ भी जिंदगी के बाद भी
जिंदगी के बाद भी. No wonder you saw the way, dude, the internet went crazy because people are saying now. I saw a GIF being made or a meme made saying that Rustam Kadyrov is now number 1 pound for pound above John Jones and everybody.
Why? Because he defended 2 takedowns.
No, because dude, Khamzat couldn't get out from under him, no?
Yeah.
I mean, I've not seen that kind of top pressure. Dude.
But the good part is what, when we see leaders of nations, like even Vladimir Putin, who's a judo master, who actually goes to these schools and eventually teaches the kids as to this is how you sweep, this is how you roll, this is how you hold. Isn't that a positive thing? That the leader of the nation is a fitness enthusiast. He's hanging with the top athletes, and at the same time, he's kind of... Part. Yeah, and at the same time, he's kind of spreading the entire gyan of sport, which I think is a very positive thing. Yes, in today's age, content is king and everybody has to be recorded and put on the internet for some kind of coverage. But I feel in the heart of it, it's a very, very positive gesture, that it's like,
It is.
it's like Modi
It's fun.
sparring with Vijender Singh.
Yeah, but that's the thing now. If Modi comes out to the cricket field to play with Kohli, I can guarantee you Kohli is out on the first ball. There is no way Kohli is hitting Narendra Modi for 6.
Absolutely.
No way.
Absolutely.
If he wants to live, that is.
No, I mean, not really, but I just think as a sporting culture, it's a very positive gesture. But what was not very sporting in nature was Paula Costa elbowing the nurse.
Dude, that is just, I don't know what to say.
After his vaccination.
No, he didn't even get the vaccination.
No, he got the vaccine, right?
No, he was on the way to get the vaccination. There was some discrepancy in the form filling or something was not ready, and therefore he elbowed the nurse.
Are you serious? Was it too much wine in his body again?
I was just about to say, I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's got a big fight against Luke Rockhold coming up, and even worse now, he's now been arrested for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just breaking. I read it in the afternoon today that the police have detained him, not arrested, but
they've kind of taken him in and
notified.
So he's not going to make weight again, basically.
No, I don't know how dude. If we're talking about how he's going to make weight is a good question, man.
Right.
I think
because his weight cut starts
big enough.
His weight cut starts 3 months prior, no?
Yeah, it has to because it's a full lifestyle change, no? Because, dude, if you notice, you saw the difference between him and Romero in their fight.
Yeah,
Romero is even though he's a very big, he's shredded, but he's not very big. He's not very big, in size.
I mean, I think he's
big, but
he's not very tall, but he's quite thick.
Correct. He's not tall. He's broad.
Yeah,
broad.
And
if you look at Costa,
and that's why in Bellator,
huge.
In Bellator he fights in 205 primarily because he could never make 185. Never.
Correct. And also, once you grow older with age, it's harder and harder to cut weight.
But Romero
it just gets harder.
Romero is 21 no? I mean, because he goes back in age, right?
No, Romero is only 20 years old yet. He's just a young lad who's been fighting for 35 years, even though at the age of 20.
Acha, so he's a Shahid Afridi of MMA.
Yeah, he never ages, ever.
Yeah, he
just doesn't. I don't know, those genes, man.
So
somebody should take, screw all these anti-aging ads. We should just take an injection or whatever is in Romero's system.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. But what is
fighting, chhod do.
What is there in one fighter system is the fact that Aljamain Sterling is considering to move up a division to featherweight division.
Dude, I told you. He's making way for his teammate. I forgot his name now. I think it was because of Merab Dvalishvili.
Yeah.
Okay, Merab Dvalishvili is in that division and he's trying to make his way up.
Right.
But there are also reports of, I don't know what is happening with Aljamain Sterling. I think he's having trouble making that weight as well.
Like 135?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
I think he wants to. It's all speculation right now. Sometimes when people say, "Oh, I'm making way for my my teammate,"
right,
is also a good way of saying that. Listen, it sucks cutting the weight.
Right.
I'm the champ. I've defended the belt. I think it's time I move up.
Right. But
what do you think about contenders wise for Aljamain at featherweight?
Oh wow! I mean, if someone had to put him up straight versus someone, I would definitely love to see maybe Aljamain versus Barboza to begin with.
Oof,
that's a because Barboza has come down from lightweight. He's kind of on a losing streak on in the featherweight division. I think it would be great if Aljamain can take that fight, and if somehow he can win that fight, he's legit. He's going to be considered as legit.
Aljamain versus Giga Chikadze.
Oh, that's going to be too tough because Giga is really too big, for
actually, it's actually the grappling will be bad for Giga
if he can take him down. But what I would suggest is if the listeners currently want to get into the conversation, they can join in.
Yes.
#Fight Mania. Speak to us and tell us who you think can go against Aljamain Sterling if he's moving up one weight category into the featherweight division. We would love to hear from you as well as speak to you. So please join into the conversation, talk to Mystic Chips and Superhuman Kamra, and we would be delighted to have this conversation.
Absolutely. Sumesh, I got to ask a question by somebody for the 100 millionth, 500,000 billionth time.
Yeah.
It's about Conor McGregor, but you can't avoid the guy. He's too big for the sport.
Right. Right.
There are finally rumors settling down that Conor and Chandler might be a real thing. And I got asked a question saying that, it's a very good question, which is why I love fans now, because they started to get a little technical.
Yes.
They're like, do you think that Chandler has sports a chin every time he goes out? Like every time he fights, he gets dropped, he gets hurt.
Yeah.
And guys like Conor, they can punch. Conor can hurt you badly. Yeah. You're not easy. It's not an easy fight. You're not walking in against a volume puncher. You're in there against a precision one-shot power guy.
Yes.
I think, so he was telling me, so he's like, do you guys think that it's a wise move? Or is it Chandler's one fight and retire policy?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, if you remember the name of somebody who has asked this question, we would love to mention the somebody. But it's such a valid question because, see, we should understand that Michael Chandler is a wrestler that likes to strike. So if by chance Conor tags him, he always has that opportunity to go for the takedowns and recover in those 30-40 seconds. Of course, I do understand that Conor does have that one-punch knockout that could put you to sleep. But Chandler has shown that, he has hung with Justin Gaethje, he's hung with, like Poirier and all these guys, and he has really gone past their power. Of course, yes, he has lost the fight, but he has hung in there and he's gone past their power. If Chandler is ever in a position against Conor where he's hit, and if he survives, he always has that option to go to the ground and continue his game. And maybe he'll find some success down there. Maybe he'll find success. And I personally think Conor has not fought someone that brings out the heat in that manner because he has the power, he has the explosiveness, he has the speed, and he brings the heat. Like how Justin Gaethje doesn't bring the heat. He has the power, he has all the tools to knock anybody out, but he doesn't bring the heat. Michael Chandler brings the heat.
No, but that's it. See, that's the thing. But when you're an aggressive forward puncher, forward striker, you fall into the hands of a good counter striker. But Anderson Silva was a master at this.
But he's also smart. He would force. Chandler is very smart.
But Chandler's got fight IQ, but he's also an entertainer. So he will not change levels and look to make this, let me save myself kind of thing, Yeah. There are guys who will be like, okay, I don't want to name who or what camp, but you know what I'm talking about. There are guys who will take one slight punch or one shot and they will just change levels and hold the person for the rest of the round.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that is not Chandler's walking in strategy. It's not. It's just not the kind of guy he is.
Absolutely.
And when you're in the main event of a Las Vegas event and there's $1 million, $2-3 million on the line, your wallet is going to be packed. If you put on a show, the fight bonuses are going to be huge. I doubt he stands. I doubt he takes Conor down. I think he stands with Conor and he makes it a war. Let the best man fall.
But
I think that's.
I truly,
that's how it's going to be.
On a personal level, I believe it's a very good matchup. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fireworks. And I feel...
Dude, it's going to break the bank.
I feel Michael Chandler has the tools to beat Conor because, yes, Conor has, that little front kick that he has to the midsection. He has his left hand.
Yeah.
But Chandler has a left
and his
hook.
Right.
He's
got a great
hook.
leaping right hook, man. He's got a great right uppercut. He's got which he uses to set up that left hand.
Yeah.
He's taller, he's rangier. Even though that doesn't make a difference to Chandler, but it's the thing is that Conor can take a shot too,
He can.
And,
so it's an absolute 50-50. It's an even going in. I think the fans will win and the UFC definitely will rope in the box because it's going to...
Can you imagine?
It's going to be the co-main event of any evening.
Dude, if it's Conor doesn't do co-main, man. Conor doesn't do co-main anymore. He's going to want to do main event. But, slightly on that same line, you're talking about main events, etc. and co-main events. Luke Rockhold was found in preparation for his upcoming fight with Paulo Costa. Fingers crossed, Paulo. You elbowed a nurse, but now I'm waiting for you to elbow somebody else legally inside a cage. Please stop elbowing people outside. All you guys, man, stop elbowing and kicking and hurting people outside. You guys are paid fighters. Go do it in the cage. Coming back to this thing, did you see Khabib's size? Wrestling with Luke Rockhold?
Well, Khabib, I was shocked. He's probably walking he's walking around at 210, 215.
How much is Luke Rockhold? Luke Rockhold is easily 220?
Yeah, as in he will be in that 210, 215 bracket because he cuts to 185. Correct. So that's still a cool 30 pounds.
Yeah, that's still a cool 30 pounds. And Khabib, I know he's retired, but how the F did that man make 155?
Well, because he's to dehydrate himself to galaxy to even make that weight.
I mean, there's dehydration and there's Anthony Johnson dehydration, which is from cutting from 240 to 170.
Well, that was death, to be honest. That was death, and precisely why he is stupidity. Precisely why he is where he is, and he's nowhere to be seen on the bigger circuit at the moment because it's just too difficult. It takes a toll on you mentally, physically, and all the other aspects. And honestly, fighters don't even see this.
Messed up.
Like fighters don't see that it's not just about the weight, but it's about longevity.
Correct. Exactly.
And you look at
people, have a long career.
Absolutely. Like GSP, Uriah Faber, they really didn't cut that much weight. BJ Penn, and they had beautiful careers.
BJ Penn used to weigh under.
Yeah.
I remember for his fight against GSP was 169.
Right.
And GSP was easily 185, 190 on Fight Night.
Easily.
Weight difference was huge. But luckily, due to the IV ban, and so there's no on-spot rehydration anymore.
Right.
So IV ban has led to a lot of good changes,
Right.
You'll have a lot of guys who are not abusing the system anymore. So, but still there are guys, it's shocking. It's like even seeing Islam Makhachev. I saw him do an interview for another one of his fighters in Bellator. And dude, the guy looked like a legit 185 pounder.
Dude, Islam Makhachev is so huge. Again, I don't know how he makes 185. I just fail to understand.
They need to share the diet with me because, really, I need to make 185 soon.
Oh my God.
Coming back to talking about a lot of new things that's coming. Guys, please go ahead and watch The Ultimate Fighter Season 30. It's got Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunez as coaches. As we know, Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunez fought for the flyweight strap. Sorry, was it strawweight or flyweight?
Bantamweight.
So sorry.
Yeah.
My mistake, guys. My mistake. That's the strawweight champion and the flyweight champion. No, please don't come kill me.
Yeah.
Though the flyweight belt is on the line next weekend.
It is.
Yes, Valentina. But anyway, coming back to Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunez. If you don't know, go and Google the shocker that it was. Amanda Nunez was one of the most dominant female champions since Ronda Rousey.
Yes.
And she got finished by the Venezuelan vixen, Juliana Pena.
Yes, she did. And in fact, the good part is they are coaching The Ultimate Fighter Season 30, and they are going to be fighting at the end of it. It's live on Sony 10.2/Sony 10.3, if I'm not mistaken. And it's going to be fireworks.
Sony 10.2 only.
However,
it is. And the trash talk has already begun.
The trash talk of not having trash talk has begun. Where Amanda Nunez said, listen, you aren't talking to me. What's wrong? Trash talk, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Talk to me in my face. Say what you want to say to my face. And I'm loving it. I think we're going to see a different Amanda Nunez. She's got that fire back in her eyes.
But you know
She's
what
looking
happens
different.
In such situations, it's to show that I'm not scared. And in case Pena beats her again, it's over. That's the end of Amanda Nunez. And also, she's left American Top Team. She's on herself. She's by herself with her own set of, trainers and the camp and all of that. So it's going to be very interesting. I think the viewers cannot miss this one because TUF 30, The Ultimate Fighter 30, is on air and you cannot miss it. It's fireworks.
Absolutely. Just before we wrap up this segment, I just want to have, there was a great article by a writer called Al-Shati who was talking about, Somesh is also, guys, if you don't know, Somesh Kamra runs a gym in Manipal. It's called Superhuman, where he's training a lot of fighters, trained India's first UFC athlete
Yes.
who went to the UFC, Bharat Kandare, and also is instrumental in sending two Indian fighters for the Road to UFC
Yes.
tournament in Singapore. So, Kalia, Bendi, mere ko nahi leke gaya. Why did you not nominate me as the fighter?
Well, because see, there has to be like a sexy quotient also.
Stop. Anybody who knows me.
There's a sexy quotient, and you break the barriers, so we cannot take, like we can't take such good-looking people.
Oh, it's good as dark today. This would have been fully outshone.
Well, there's someone who's called the Heart of Darkness.
We are not doing crossovers with the Undertaker, man. But speaking of darkness, there was a great article written about training, and
Okay.
one segment of fighting within the entire sport that is not given a lot of attention are the guys who hold pads for fighters, because
Oh my
guys who hold
God.
pads are some of the most important people. There are
Right.
fighters who will fly down their padmen from
Yes.
wherever in the world, because when you have a motion of striking,
Yeah.
there are very few pad guys who know how you move.
Yes.
So they know.
Yes.
They literally emulate inches away from your face to emulate a real fight.
Yes.
So that's how they develop that accuracy as well. So guys like, I can imagine, I think Extreme Couture, Nick Sick,
Right.
who is the coach for Francis Ngannou,
Yeah.
said that it is one of the most, he's like, there have been moments where I felt like I've broken my face, my ribs have been gone, the kicks of Francis. I mean, you've held pads for guys. How grueling is that entire job?
That is such a good point that you mentioned, because it's something which I have not told anybody, and they will hear it right now on the Fight Mania. Is that when we were in Shanghai, and it was Bharat's first fight in the UFC, the first Indian to ever get into the UFC. And I was holding pads for him. We also have this chest guard that kind of protects the ribs and
body.
the chest guard had kind of moved, because there's like a lot of movement happening and all of that. The chest guard just moved a little bit, and Bharat clinched me and he gave me a knee, and it missed the chest guard and went straight to my ribs.
Oh
And-
shit! So it cut through the padding.
Yeah, so it didn't really cut through because the pad had
Went
shifted.
Correct.
It just kind of hit straight here. And I felt this shocking pain for like 30 seconds. And I'm like, oh my God. And I kind of sat down. And he was like, are you okay? Are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm good. Don't worry. I'm not kidding. For a month, I could not sleep on my left. For a month.
Yeah, I believe it, man. I mean,
It was
I
so
don't really
painful.
help pad.
I could not laugh. I could not cough.
Oh yeah.
I could not sleep
Yeah.
on my left side, and it felt that my rib had cracked. And I'm not kidding. I felt my rib had cracked.
I mean, I remember I was, and I've never done, I've never coached or anything. I've just held
Yeah.
pads for fun,
with
some of the fighters. I remember one of these Dutch Muay Thai guys
Yeah.
who had come down to train the team here. I was just fooling around with them. And in the morning, they're like, hey, just hold pads. That first smack that you get on your hands, if you don't keep your hands steady, you hop. It's a smack across. And
Oh my
I
God.
missed. He missed. He went under my elbow. And he
Right.
hit me right here, my back, on the side of my back. Luckily, it didn't hit the ribs. It went
Right.
a little higher.
Right.
But that was bruised for a month. Yeah. It's
Oh
like a
my
baseball
God.
bat hitting you.
Oh my God, that's
Oh my
crazy.
God.
But what's going to happen is we're going to be taking a short break here and
Yes.
continuing the conversation, where you will see Mystic Chips and Superhuman Kamra doing a face-off in this advertisement. Stay tuned. We'll see you on the other side.
If you're a cricket fan, check out Edges and Sledges, India's favorite cricket podcast.
The podcast focuses on Indian cricket, the IPL, and has a ton of banter both on and off the field.
We talk about the week's biggest cricket stories with current and ex-international cricketers, coaches, or sometimes just between us.
And it's hosted by me, DJ.
Me, Varun.
And me, Ashwin.
New episodes release every week.
You can catch us on the IVM Podcast's website, app,
Or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast.
Mystic
Welcome
Chips?
back, guys.
I
we
was-
are back.
I was at
अरे
your
कौन
eye
चालू कर
level.
रहा है?
I was at your eye level. I was at your eye level. Even though you're
You were no.
even though your 4 inches
You were
taller
not
than
at
me.
my level. मैं थोड़ा ऊपर था. I'm looking like this alone. I'm doing this. But guys, welcome back to our final segment of the evening, where we're going to be talking about the next upcoming fights. This whole next 2 weeks. Do you know something? There was a statistic somebody had put up for the next 10 weekends. There are straight cards.
Holy shit!
10
Which
weekends.
which means 10 happy weekends, 10 happy
weekends, and
Sundays.
2 pay-per-views in the month of July.
Dude,
as
that
well.
is so crazy. That is so crazy.
That
There's
is
one happening in the first
mad.
week, and I think July 30th or something of that sort. There's another one.
29th.
It's so crazy. I'm so happy, and the fact that we go live every Thursday from this beautiful studio. I'm too enjoying the AC out here.
यार ऐसा बोल मत ना. I had to run around. I had a lot of things. I couldn't make
मेरा
it.
लाइट देखो प्रोडक्शन वैल्यू देखो इसको बजट
Yes,
बोलते हैं
yes.
दोस्त, इसको बजट बोलते हैं.
अरे पीछे से the toys भी है. You can play with the toys also.
आप कौन से गुफा में बैठे हो, आप मुझे वो बताइए. No, but speaking of gufa, Mystic Chips is at home because unfortunately there's a situation at his place, and I think your dad has got mild COVID. So from the entire fraternity, Mr. Chipalkatti, recover well, come back soon, because
Thank you so much.
Arjun doesn't enjoy when you don't give him galis. That galis कि बेटा जिंदगी में क्या कर रहे हो तुम?
बेटा क्या करते हो? क्या है ये podcast? क्या करते हो तुम हर Thursday जाके? I'm like, Daddy, सुनो. I hope he's tuned in, huh? Pops, I hope you're watching.
Absolutely, yes. So, best wishes. He is going to be back soon in about 4-5 days.
Yeah, he's absolutely fine. He's already on the path to recovery. He's going to be fine in a couple of days.
Actually, like when you said path, I thought you were going to be saying party. He's on his way to a party. And I was like, dude, he has to be your father. Yeah?
But correct. His friends are sending him pictures of single malt. Saying that, we're out.
We are single.
We are single with the single malt.
Oh, God. But those who haven't taken the vaccination or the booster, please go out there, get your Co-Win app. And the boosters are available for every single buddy. Doesn't matter about age group or sex, male, female, whatever it is, third gender. You can go and get your booster. Be safe, so that the economy will open, the offices will open, and we all are having a great time.
Yes, sir. But speaking of a great time, we've got a great fight card coming up this weekend, which is headlined by a heavyweight main event. I think it's Alexander Volkov is fighting again.
Versus
taking
Rosenstrike.
Oh, it's Jairzinho Rosenstrike.
Absolutely. The gentleman who cut Alistair Overeem's lip in two.
Don't talk. That fight does not count.
That fight is not counted.
Any fight against Overeem's, Anderson Silva, where they're losing is not counted.
It's not counted. क्योंकि stumps मेरे हैं तो cricket pitch मेरा ही है. अगर मैं out होएगा तो फिर मैं stump लेके जाएगा वैसा.
नहीं, मैं bat लेके जाएगा. मैं bat लेके जाएगा तो ball लेके जाएगा घर पे. मेरा ball है. लेके आया बस.
Absolutely. But the co-main event is also very interesting with Dan Ige and Movsar Evlov that is going to be on the card. So it's very, very interesting. I mean, sometimes there are fighters that we don't know, but the fights turn out to be bangers. And I think the main event and the co-main event are going to be absolute bangers in this case.
Absolutely. Sometimes you see a lot of, that's how contenders rise, no? We didn't know who a Dan Ige was. We didn't know who XYZ was.
Yeah.
We didn't know who Giga Chikadze was. All these guys are new guys. They've come up by the same method that the UFC promotes these cards. They're not in the main event yet, but they're on their way. You put on a good performance and you get shifted to a main card, to pay-per-view.
Absolutely. And this is a co-main event. But what's the best part about being in the Apex is the smaller 24-foot octagon and the heavyweights in there. It's not going to go 5 rounds.
There's nowhere to run.
There's nowhere to run. And in fact, the third man in the octagon is actually like crowd. The referee should actually be outside because there's too much crowd in there.
Seriously, there's no room. And they put against these big boys, so they definitely will use somebody like Dan Murgliota.
Exactly, like a Dan Murgliota. So there's like some 800 pounds that is there in the octagon at that point of time.
Yeah, easily. Seriously, I mean, you're going to see a great war. So tell me, Mr. Kamra, what are your picks?
Oh man, it's going to be very difficult to pick a heavyweight because, as we all know, one shot can change it all. But I'm going to be going for this one with Biggie Boy Rosenstrike is my pick. I think he's going to beat Volkov because he has the speed, he has the power, he has the resilience. I think he can take a couple of punches from Volkov and still move forward, but it's not going to work vice versa.
Let's see. I'm actually betting Volkov has more of a, he's got that French kickboxing style. He stands up straight.
Yes.
Moves his head straight backwards as opposed to, slipping shots.
Yes.
And Rosenstrike is not he's not a traditional striker. He's got a lot more tools. He's a very good grappler. So he knows how to shift levels and change it up.
Yes.
And we've seen Volkov struggle with something like that in the past. So I'm expecting a decision victory from Rosenstrike.
You think it's going to go 5 rounds?
Yeah, it could.
Oh wow, that's a good call. That's a very interesting call. In fact, that's a very sensible thing. I'm going to go traditional with a just bleed attitude.
Oh my God!
I think Rosenstrike is going to finish him off. But we would like to hear from you. Who do you think is going to take the main event of the evening between Alexander Volkov and Biggie Boy Rosenstrike? You can hashtag us, tag us, and we would love to converse with you. We would love to mention you on the show. We are giving away extremely good, funky Fight Mania merchandise, and there's going to be so much more fun happening. But before we wrap up, Mystic Chips, it's a very important weekend because when we are back next week on the show, our boys will already be there on the road to UFC.
Oh, wow. That's awesome, man. I mean, congratulations to Pawan Man Singh and Anshul Jubilee.
Yes.
Who've gotten an opportunity of a lifetime, I would say, to be a part of one of the biggest, most stable organizations in this field. So good luck, boys. We're all watching. And India ki shaan, make us proud, man.
Absolutely.
No extra pressure, huh? Just say.
Yeah, go out there, enjoy. But what the fighters need from all the listeners right now is good wishes, a lot of hashtags. Let's go.
Yes.
Hashtag Team Jubilee, Team Man, and let's show our
Team
support
India.
to them. Team India. And let's support them because it's a huge stage. And just imagine if these guys knock their opponents out.
Or submit them.
It's going to be fireworks. And also, Sony are extremely cooperative. They are airing all the road to UFC fights. So, ladies and gentlemen, June 9th and June 10th, stay tuned. It's going to be on Sony 10.2 and Sony 10.3. If I'm not mistaken, 2:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. is going to be
it's going to be 2:30 to 8.
The road to UFC fights. Catch our fighters there. The schedule will be out soon. Anshul Jubilee and Pawan Man Singh are there to make history.
Absolutely. So, guys, don't forget to support. Like Somesh said, if you've got something critical to say, please, I suggest keep it to yourself because being an athlete is hard enough, and these guys have got a chance of a lifetime.
Yes.
So, if you don't have anything supportive to say, please don't say anything. And I mean that with the utmost respect. That being said, guys, it's been a great show. So tune in every weekend, every Thursday, not weekend. I'm so used to saying it for the Sony show also, but tune in for that as well.
You're just a weekend guy, dude.
Kya karega? We're near the weekend also. No? So, guys, tune in every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. to the Fight Mania. We're a newly revamped show. It's all about MMA. It's all about fighting with the two hosts in the business. Myself, Mystic Chips, Arjun Jubilee, and Somesh, the Superhuman Kamra. Signing off. We will see you next week, same time, same place, exclusively on IVMPodcast.com.
There's a quick survey to fill out on ivmpodcast.com/survey. It lets us know a little bit more about who's listening to us. And you know what? We're going to do a few prizes. So, we'll do a random drawing of maybe 10 people and we'll send you all some swag. Remember, that's ivmpodcast.com/survey where you can fill out the survey.
क्या आप लेफ्ट आउट फील करते हैं जब कोई आपसे इन्वेस्टमेंट या इंश्योरेंसेस की बात करता है? क्या आप सीखना चाहते हैं कि अपने पैसों को स्मार्ट तरीके से कैसे मैनेज करना है? अगर हाँ, तो आप सही जगह आए हैं। स्वागत है आपका SBI लाइफ प्रस्तुत एक चुस्की फाइनेंस में, महिलाओं द्वारा महिलाओं के लिए बनाया गया पॉडकास्ट, जहां हम आसान शब्दों में कठिन फाइनेंशियल टॉपिक्स पर बात करेंगे, मेरे यानी प्रियंका आचार्य के साथ। अपने 14 वर्षों का अनुभव लिए मैं आ रही हूँ हिंदी और अन्य 7 भाषाओं में हर मंगलवार नए एपिसोड्स के साथ IVM पॉडकास्ट नेटवर्क और अन्य चर्चित पॉडकास्ट प्लेटफॉर्म्स पर।